Hello, fellow pirate riders. I'm Greybeard, your pirate guide for Island Park in West Yellowstone. And it's been a little while since I did a video, and we had a couple of interesting topics, so I thought I'd take a few minutes of your time. Let's talk about the weather. Let's talk about snow and forecasts. I threw up a couple of short reels. You guys, you may have seen those, you may not have. But of big importance, one of the bigger pieces of news that came out over the weekend is NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, issued out their newest 90-day forecasts. One for fall, for October, November, December, and one for midwinter, that'd be January, February, March. In short, things are looking up. In long, we're going to talk about that just a little bit. For Island Park and West Yellowstone, the tri-state corner, Montana, Wyoming, southeast Idaho, the 90-day forecast for fall shows that we're, I think, just slightly warmer, like 1 gradient warmer and 2 gradients wetter than normal. So on average, you know, this looks at the last 50 years of recorded data. On average, we're going to be slightly above normal temperature, and we're going to be 2 gradients out of 5 wetter. All things considered, that's probably fine. You know, will it have any impact on people coming out to ride in midwinter? Probably not. Probably no impact whatsoever. Will it have any impact on those of us that live here? Maybe. You know, I'm honestly hoping we're going to snake in and get that late October ride in. You know, sometime 25th to the 30th. You know, last year we got really lucky. We got like 6 inches of snow, which was enough to get out and do a road ride. And if you might remember, we posted some really fun videos last year for a couple of night rides that we scored and just got lucky on. And I'm hoping, you know, and it's just a hope. I don't know there's any real expectation we're gonna have enough snow to ride in October, but I'm hoping we get lucky and we're able to do that. That would be super, super fun. But far more important is the winter report that they just put out. And the 90-day winter report is January, February, March. Get my huskies out in front of me. Whew, that sun is bright today. Holy cow. Yeah, baby. The 90-day report is significantly more interesting and gives us a much better idea of what is likely on a really wide-scale trending basis. Now, we all agree, freaking forecasters can't get the snow for tomorrow right, let alone 3 months, 4 or 5 months down the road. But these 90-day forecasts are only looking at trends. They're not looking at specific, I mean, they make no forecast for the amount of rain we're going to get, no forecast for the amount of snow we're going to get, nothing like that. They're looking at trends. And the trend for midwinter, again, January, February, March 2026, for Island Park and West Yellowstone is normal average temperatures, which is great. You know, if we have average temperatures, everybody's going to be perfectly happy. And 2 gradients above average for precipitation. Now, in this humble pirate's mind, that's fantastic. That you know, that could make for a really good, solid winter. If we're able to keep our normal average temperatures that we're used to, and we get 2 gradients plus on water, precipitation, that means snow. That means maybe good snow, maybe a solid year. There's a certain joy of walking with 4 huskies when they all decide to go in different directions and you're left holding the ropes. As I was saying before I was interrupted, if we're able to maintain normal average temperatures and get more precipitation, we should be in for some really good snow. Last year was considered a low snow year, but the fact was we had pretty good snow most of the year. And if you're willing to get off the trail and do a little hunting, I think most of you that came out and rode with me know that we found some really good snow many, many times. There were a few exceptional days, you know, days that we would call or consider truly epic days, but most of the days were just good days. There was snow, there was fresh snow. We went out, we rode, we had a freaking great time. I think right now, based on, gosh, at least 10 different forecasters that I follow that specialize in mountain forecasting, and there's no doubt that the mountain forecasts are unique. They're not the same as urban forecasts at all. And there's a real knack to knowing what's likely to come in the mountains and what's likely to come down low. But everything I see across the board is suggesting an above average winter. And while I focus really strongly on my little home backyard, you know, Island Park in West Yellowstone, It looks that way mostly for all of northern United States. So with any luck at all, you guys back in the the Midwest will at least get an average winter for a change instead of a sub-average winter. Come on, girls. Come on, babies. Get up here and stay up in front. So I am cautiously optimistic that we're looking at a good year. You know, maybe a year that we'll really be able to get out there and have some fun for a change and have more epic days rather than just a couple of epic days. So your pirate guide is holding out and is becoming more optimistic as every week goes by, as I see more and more forecasts, more long range and more short range. There is snow in the short range forecast, so that's the next 10 days. You know, 1 inch, 2 inches, not a lot. It's not going to stick, but that's still snow on our local mountains. It's coming. There's no doubt about it. You know, fall is here and winter is starting to stretch forth her long tentacles or fingers, as it were. And I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm taking my sled in this week. I'm going to get some work done to the rear suspension. Carrying all that photography gear and all my overnight stuff definitely wreaks havoc on the suspension. And I don't have the full travel that I used to, so I'm going to go get that repaired. Probably replace a shock or two and get several of the rear suspension bushings replaced. I want that sled to be in tip-top condition as we get ready. And I'm bringing, I'll take my backup sled and I'm going to put an I-backshift clutch on that one. I really, really like their clutches. I've been incredibly satisfied. I bought their clutches on several occasions and they just perform great on the Skidoos. If you've got a Skidoo, it's certainly worth taking a look at I-backshift. I have certainly been happy with them. And no, that's not a paid endorsement. No, I'm not a sponsored rider or any of that nonsense. You guys all know. I do this channel for the pure love of the sport. And that's saying a lot because I really love the sport. I have a lot of fun riding. I get out there and I hope I get a chance to ride with some of you guys. I was very, very fortunate recently to have one of my fellow pirate riders, score a lottery win for score a lottery win for the Yellowstone National Park ride. And he gave me 4 slips to let me come in. So I've bringing in 2 of my sons, which is a surprise. One of them is a professional photographer and he wants to come in and help me shoot, which is a very big deal. I will not be able to get the drone in the air, sadly. I so would love to get a drone inside of Yellowstone National Park, but it almost takes an act of Congress. They're extraordinarily anti-drone in that national park. So he will help me mount some gimbals on the side of the snowmobiles, and I hope, if this works out, we're going to get some really cool, you know, car quality videos of the snowmobile trip inside of Yellowstone. And my other son, who's been absent from sledding for a couple of years, has decided to come back in the sport. And he said he wanted to come, so he's coming along. And then I'm going to take another social media content creator with me. So I'll have 3 people assisting me to do the video. That's my goal. I want to shoot as much content as I can while I'm inside the park and max out every hour of the day that I'm there. And then 2 days ago, another one of you guys contacted me who won the lottery and offered me a second slot to go in. So this might be a big year. I might be able to get a couple of rides inside there that are unguided. This should be super fun. It's not very often I get a chance to do something really completely different, but that would really be fun. I look forward to that opportunity. On a slightly more controversial topic, did you see what President Trump had to say today at the United Nations? Oh my gosh, that speech he gave went all over the place, and most of it's of no concern or relevance to snowmobiling. But he went off on the Green New Deal, and he went off on climate change, and that probably is important. Not because his comments are going to directly affect us, but it just lends credence to the thought that he is really strongly in favor of more access. You know, and as I said in one of the shorts, gosh, it's been so long since we had an administration in Washington that was pro-access, that was pro-getting into the forest and opening up the roads and, you know, gaining access to the places that we ride, the places that we love. You know, taking some of the stuff that's been surreptitiously labeled as wilderness and reclassifying it as space that we can go out and play in and have a good time. That Roadless Act, oh my gosh, I hope it goes down in flames. I really, truly hope you guys took my, you accepted my challenge and you filled out the form, you know, on the Blue Ribbon Committee, and you went out there, the Blue Ribbon Coalition, excuse me, and you went out there and submitted that. I hope that we're able to win on that case. I think we can. I think there's momentum. I think there's good initiative coming out of the White House and Trump's administration, as well as lots of individual enthusiasts like us. So Trump was, you know, just bagging on the whole climate change thing, saying that it's a total fraud for all intents and purposes. There is no global cooling, there's no global warming. He was just going off on it. And whether you agree with him or not really isn't the point. That's not my position here. I'm not trying to make this highly political, but I am trying to take advantage of the fact that we have somebody that appears to be pro-access. And that's something we simply haven't had in an awfully long time. And of course, you guys all know that my personal drumbeat is trying to get into Yellowstone National Park. I want to see the best available technology rule rescinded. And I think that is one of the things that could potentially happen. Is it going to happen this winter? No, I don't think so. I don't think there's much chance of that at all. Could it happen the next year, 2 years, 3 years? Yep, absolutely. Especially if we keep pushing against, come on, babies, come on. Huskies, I swear, wonderful dogs, pain in the butt. Love these dogs. I think it could happen, and I really honestly remain increasingly optimistic that there's a good chance that we're going to see these rules changed. Sorry about that huge shadow in front of my face. That we're going to see these rules changed as a result of a major shift in administrative policy. That maybe we can rip one of the legs out of that stool so that we can regain the right to take our own personal sleds into the national park, and that we can do it without a paid professional guide. Am I advocating for everybody having unlimited, unrestricted riding privileges? No, I'm not. Don't think that's the case. Don't think we need to. Don't think we want to. But any paved surface inside the park, I think that should be fair game personally. I think any road surface inside the national park should be available for us to ride on our own private sleds whenever we want to, 24 hours a day. That's my goal. That's the thing that I'm personally advocating for just constantly, is that may come to pass. And I think as every week goes by and every initiative comes out, that there's a bigger and bigger chance there. So this Roadless Act, you know, if we win on this, if they're able to start to roll the Roadless Act back, I think that's a big deal, guys. I really do. I think that's nothing but good for snowmobiling. And I know we have some folks on this forum that are concerned that Trump wants to sell off all the national assets and sell off the national parks and sell off the national forests. And my position is I don't buy it. I was in favor of the last one where they were going to sell off parcels that were within 5 miles of the city. I still think that's a good idea. It did not pass. Doesn't mean it won't come back in a year or two. But we have issues out here that are called chessboard or checkerboard or patchwork, where you have an acre that's federal and an acre that's private and an acre that's state and an acre that's county. And you have these chessboards that are just a disaster on who owns property. And they typically occur around urban development. So if you look at Island Park and you look at the property ownership, man, you'll see these checkerboards that are just all over the place. And I'm all in favor of, you know, taking that federal ownership away in the immediate proximity. That means like contingent to where private property already exists. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. But like I said, it didn't pass, so it's not a big deal. But maybe we can float that one again. But the Roadless Act, I think there's a much better chance that we might prevail on that. And I really hope we do, I'll be honest. I would like to see that rolled back. You know, for my own personal, private, no, they're not private. For my own personal reasons, I want to say prejudicial reasons. I want all these dang closed roads in West Yellowstone and Island Park open back up. These are historic roads that have been there for 50 plus years. You know, these things date back from the 70s. There's no reason for them to be closed, in my humble opinion. I would like to see them open. I would like to see us be able to go in the summer and in the winter and in the spring and in the fall. So that's my own personal goal. That's, you know, what motivates me for all this. I am a fundamental pro-access pirate. I want everyone to be able to go any place that the government owns the property. And if we have the opportunity to transfer it from the federal government to the state government, come on puppies, then I'm in favor of that. Local ownership, local government, in my humble opinion, is always the best government. All right, so in summary, the weather's looking up, the long-range forecasts are looking up, the snow is looking up, the industry seems to be sort of looking up. We need, you know, a couple of good winters for the industry. Obviously, nothing would help snowmobiling as an industry more than lots of snow. Politically, things seem to be looking up. There's reason to be happy, guys. There's reason to be hopeful and expect better days to come. And, you know, the best of snowmobiling is not behind us anymore. I remain increasingly optimistic the more I look at what's going on around us. You know, there's I don't know, what would be the term? There's hope in the air. There's a sense of good things coming our way. I think maybe that's just what it is. I don't know, maybe it's just the fact winter's coming, and winter always makes all of us happier. We always have a better outlook on life when there's snow coming. I am so looking forward to seeing the first real snow, and probably in the next couple of weeks. There'll be snow on the ground. Won't stay, but there'll be snow on the ground, and that'll always put a smile on my face. By Halloween, we always have snow down here. Very, very often it snows on Halloween. That is not uncommon here in southeast Idaho at all. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, guys, I've talked your ear off long enough. I'm Christopher, Pirate Guide for Island Park in West Yellowstone. I'll see you guys on the mountain this winter.